Hello, I'm Richard Blackaby, and I'm the president of Blackaby Ministries International. And our ministry goes around the world working with leaders of churches and organizations, trying to help them move people onto God's agenda and to take their leadership to another level. And as we're going through this coronavirus crisis right now that is affecting the entire world, shutting down all kinds of activities and impacting every person on the planet, I wanted to just talk for a moment, especially to leaders who may need just some words of counsel and encouragement during this very difficult and confusing time. Few of us have ever had to lead with a situation quite like this. It's caught a lot of us off guard. Never seen this before. There's no precedent to know how to respond. But there are some things that every leader can do. And I want to just mention a couple of those for you. One is control what your people focus on. I'll tell you what, you can watch TV all day and get yourself tied up in a knot with anxiety and concern. You should be watching for announcements and be aware of any restrictions and so on that are happening. But be careful that you help your people focus on what matters most. That's one of the jobs of a leader. Someone has said you control the projector, and you help people know what they should be concentrating on as an organization. There will be a lot of opportunities that will be lost because people were focusing on the wrong thing. Don't focus just solely on the negative, but there's always a positive side. There's always opportunities for growth. There's always opportunities to join what God is doing in the midst of a crisis. And so as a leader, if you hear all the conversations being very negative, people are all losing hope and discouraged, you need to step in and help people focus on what matters most. Secondly, you need to demonstrate a calm. It's often been said that if you're on a ship in a storm, you may be scared, but as long as the captain still looks calm, you're okay. If the captain is in a panic, then you need to be worried too. And so if you're the leader, demonstrate a calm. Demonstrate a confidence, a hope. It doesn't mean that you're minimizing the problem. You just have confidence that you're going to get to the other side. Just hold on. We'll make it through, and we'll continue on with the mission God has for us. You also just need to infuse confidence in others. You need to speak positively. It doesn't mean that you have all the answers or that you know what's going to happen, but you've been down this road enough times to know that whatever problems come, you'll find the solutions. You'll get to the other side. Hopefully you've had a track record already of successful leadership that gives you confidence that just as God's always been faithful before, he'll be faithful this time as well. No need to hit the panic button. We'll address the issues as they come along, but we're not going to lose hope. And be a person that just imbues confidence to everybody around you. And fourth, demonstrate personal concern. There are some people that just tend to worry more than others. There are people that may be more vulnerable than others. You may have some people that aren't well even now, and they're concerned about contracting a devastating virus on top of that. Be careful you don't minimize the concerns of others. Realize that people handle adversity in different ways. Some are hardier than others. Some just have a natural confidence and courage more than others. As a leader, you want to minister to every person and take every person's concerns seriously and address them, listen to them, hear what they're saying, and let them know every person in your organization is important to you. Fifth thing is take action. Do something. Sometimes just doing something is better than doing nothing. And sometimes just even taking modest actions sends a message to everybody down the line that something's being done. We're not just sitting back doing nothing. Sometimes there's big, bold decisions that need to be made. But ask yourself, be talking to people, and then consider what is it that we could do right now. Some things we don't know yet, so let's wait and see. But some things we can go ahead right now and address. I'd also say keep your humor. Sometimes people think that as a leader in difficult times, it's got to be completely serious, that somehow we are minimizing people's fears and concerns if we're humorous in any way. But many of the great leaders, from Winston Churchill to people such as that, We're known for having a sense of humor, even in the midst of some of the most difficult times. It just relieved stress. It just gave people hope that even though it's tough right now, we'll get to the other side. And so within your range of humor, there are times where it's appropriate just to relieve the tension, introduce laughter, smile, let people know this is not just all bad, but we will get through, and there is hope, and so we can smile, we can even joke. And then just going along with that, offer hope. Don't just get focused on how bad it is today, but look to the future. Leaders are always future-oriented. They're always, and I find sometimes you just need to be talking about, well, when this is all past, or next year when we're doing this, or when we're looking back on this, or once we're back in action, or once we're back on the road, or once everybody has returned. Sometimes talk about, get beyond the moment where it's quite negative, and give people hope, even as you talk about what's coming. I always think about how God dealt with the Israelites. They were just told you're going to spend 40 years in the wilderness. But then almost immediately God starts talking to them and saying, but when you enter the promised land, here's how you're going to divvy up the land. And here's what you're going to do with the religious worship of me and so on. And you're thinking to yourself, that's 40 years away. Why is God already talking about it? Well, God wanted them to get not just focused on, we're in a wilderness right now, but to know that a day is coming when we'll be in a promised land. That's what leaders do. And finally, just don't minimize people's suffering. I've just learned as a leader that I have a certain pain tolerance, a certain pain threshold. Others have a greater threshold. Some have a lesser. I have to be careful I don't measure other people based on myself. I might be able to take more than they can. That doesn't make me a better person. It just means I'm a different person. Some people, it doesn't seem to faze them at all, and here I'm maybe more concerned. And I've just kind of learned that you don't want to minimize what people are going through. If they're suffering, if they're struggling, if they're fearful, that's a very legitimate emotion that they're experiencing. Wise leaders are in tune with the people around them, especially the people that they lead and they work with. And they're very sensitive to various cues that might alert them. This particular person seems quite emotional. This person seems quite upset. I need to perhaps just, instead of confronting them or blowing it off or joking it off as if it's no big deal, I need to take that seriously and realize this person's hurting right now. As a leader, I need to try to find a way to minister to them because they're important to me. Well, there's lots of things that leaders can do, but in a time of crisis, you need to first manage yourself. Make sure that you are together, that you have faith, that you have hope, that you have confidence. And once you've managed yourself well, now you'll be in a place to manage your organization and the people you lead well. So begin with yourself, begin with God, and then very quickly spread your positive, confident, hopeful, calming influence on all the people around you. And very quickly you'll find that the people will want to be around you and follow you and remain with you. And after the crisis is done and everything is back to normal, the people that you lead will remember how you cared for them, how you led confidently, how you always were hopeful and upbeat and sure that things would be better eventually, and sure enough they were. And oftentimes I found that as you lead through a crisis, it will make you a much better leader and have much more loyal followers in the days afterward because of how you led. And so in these times of crisis, leaders need to step it up, justify why they are the leader that they are. This is the time where we step up and truly lead. America needs us to, the world needs us to, the church needs us to. And so I pray that you will, and that these will really be some of the finest hours you've ever had as you've served in the place where God has placed you.